Hi, I'm Tara. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be creating several Father's Day inspired projects. However, all the projects can be completed for anybody at any time for any type of occasion throughout the year. So if you're popping into this video and it's not Father's Day, a lot of these are just great gift ideas. So stick around. And also a couple, at least 2 or 3 of the projects you can create with a Cricut Joy. You don't need a Maker or Explorer to create some of these projects, although if you have a Cricut Maker or Explorer, you can also create these projects. They're super simple and easy, and then one of the projects is going to be a little bit more elaborate, and it will require a Cricut Maker series of machine. So stick around, stay tuned, craft along with me, and if at any point you find inspiration, I would just love and appreciate that you hit the like button. I always appreciate it so much, and let's get to it. Okay, so I am going to do this Happy Father's Day. I'm going to click on continue. I've got my Joy on, and we're gonna go ahead and head over to the machine and make it. Okay, so I'm going to be using red cardstock, and I'm just going to use black for my ink pen, which it's asking for first. So I'm going to take out my blade and put my pen in, and my blade just ran away from me. There's magnets in here to keep this lid closed, and if you want to, you can try. It doesn't always stay, but putting your blade up there. And I have to grab my card mat, which is right here. And I'm just gonna slide my card blank, or my blank card from the card insert. I just show you the packet that this is from. This is from Cricut's Insert Cards. Just a nice basic color, red, blue, orange, yellow, like the rainbow colors basically. Okay, and then we just smooth that down. So if you have not done a card before, this is adhesive on the mat. So just like a regular mat. And then we're gonna go ahead and slide this into the Cricut Joy, but it's going to be the same process whether you're using a Cricut Explore or a Maker. Obviously you just have like a 2x2 mat rather than just the one card. And I'm going to have to click go from my screen. Everything with the Joy is wireless, no buttons. That can be a little frustrating sometimes when things go wrong. I've noticed that I actually have less options. It's kind of weird on my screen from my laptop than I do with my Android phone. I can actually like hit cancel and unload easier from my Android at this point than I can from my actual laptop, which is kind of interesting, but I suppose they were really focusing on making this really as simple as possible. So Cricut is always ever changing. I'm gonna go ahead and let that draw. Okay, so the writing part is done, so I'm just gonna take my pen out and I'm gonna pop my blade back in, and then I have to hit go from my laptop. And then it's gonna cut out, and then all we have to do once it gets done is put this little insert in. Okay, I have to hit unload from my laptop, and then here's the card. So then what you do is you just simply peel it back. I injured my thumbnail the other day. I was working on a project and I cut my thumbnail all the way down to like below where we should normally trim our thumbnails. Oh, it's painful to even like think about right now, but it's a little tender, and it also makes for a not very functional usable thumb right now. So basically you'll just kind of pop it off there. Most of the little bits will stick to your mat, and then you'll just use a scraper tool to scrape them off. I'm gonna get my little trash bin over here. Let me close my Joy up so we have more room. And then just use my scraper tool and scrape the little bits into the trash can. Okay, and then once you've got most of the bits off with your fingers, you might need to use your weeding tool or a weeding pen and just kind of poke out any little bits and pieces that did not stick to the mat or come off easily just by running your hand over some of the little cutout parts. Okay, once you think you've gotten all the bits and pieces, you probably haven't. At least that's what happened in my case. So you'll want to just kind of double check and triple check and go back over and make sure you've gotten every single last bit and piece. Oh, see, I still didn't get everything after I triple checked and quadruple checked. And then what you'll do is whatever insert you choose for a color to go inside, you can just pop that right in there. These inserts are so easy to make. I was like a little reluctant about getting the card cutting mats at first, and you can like personalize them yourself. You can make your own designs and just kind of like alterations too, so I just love it. So this is done, and then I'm just gonna go back in and maybe just have my boy's hand sign this. I'm not sure yet, but this is done. Super cute. And then they also come with an envelope to throw it in. And if you want to personalize it, you can throw this on your mat and then have a name written or have Dad written with your Cricut Joy pen if you would like. Okay, on to the next project. So this next project isn't really just for my husband, where I'm going to be doing it for everyone in our family in the RV. But I just wanted to show it because I thought that if you did a gift basket for Dad or husband or something like that for Father's Day, that this would be great. It's just a little toothbrush holder. And there's actually a slot or a spot on this that says name. I'm going to add a little adhesive vinyl that says everyone's name, but this one is going to just be for my husband, since this is all about Father's Day inspiration gifts. So I'm going to cut just a little tiny piece of transfer tape. And I am using regular Cricut transfer tape. Okay. Well, I definitely am not going to be using the grid lines for that piece of transfer tape. I put it on really crooked, but hey, it's okay. Now, the thing about this is smart vinyl. I've noticed that doing fine letters, I've been doing a lot of projects with fine lettering and fine details lately because I have just been having a heyday with this transferring adhesive vinyl, smart adhesive vinyl onto transfer tape. So we shall see how this goes. What I noticed is, like, with regular adhesive vinyl, when you have trouble with it sticking to the transfer tape, you can kind of curl it back. But because the smart vinyl is so rigid, with the backing, it's not as easy to peel back and kind of push down and curl. So that's what I'm gonna do, because it is just a bear to transfer this little fine lettering. It can literally take like a 2-minute project and make it into 20 minutes easy, just because of this stinking difficulty transferring. And I've tried a lot of tricks, so I'm gonna keep on with smart material trying to figure this out so that I can continue to help share knowledge. If you're noticing, I'm kind of like rocking side to side. That seemed to work a little better. Oh, we got one little letter that's hanging on still. I don't even know if burnishing is helping, to be honest with you. It's like it does not want to come off. Okay, it did. Okay, going to just try to line up the name right in the middle there. It doesn't help when you use grid line transfer tape and you're not using the grid lines. It really makes things get thrown off a little bit there. So hopefully this will be on there straight. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I didn't do myself too bad. So there's the toothbrush holder name on there. Kind of hard to see because I have picked a clear one for my husband. All the other colors were more of our boy's favorite colors and my favorite color. So he gets the plain one, which he'll be completely fine with. But there's an idea. Just throw some adhesive vinyl on a little toothbrush holder and throw it in a gift basket for your guy in your life. I am beyond excited about this next project. I am going to be putting one of Cricut Design Space's monograms. As of the filming of this video, the Monogram Maker is new to Cricut Design Space, and I am just like totally here for this. I am in love with it. I am beyond excited. I'm trying to find like the best side here on this, and I'm cleaning it off. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to give a spritz over it again, and I'm going to do the wet method to apply the adhesive vinyl. So here is the monogram that I made. I absolutely love, love, love this. I am so, so excited about this. Maybe I'm gonna do it a little bit lower on the cup, like probably about here. So I'm just using a stainless steel tumbler. I honestly think I got this on sale at Michael's not that long ago. Okay, and then by putting this little spritz of rubbing alcohol, I'm creating a barrier, which is allowing me to be able to stick and re-stick if I absolutely need to. It's also going to help limit the amount of air bubbles. So I am just going to kind of fold it in the middle and line it up, kind of eyeballing. Okay, and then I'm also going to do just a couple little relief cuts. I haven't really felt like I needed to do many relief cuts when I'm doing this wet method, but because this is a rounded image, circles are a bear. Big round images like this or circles like this are not easy to put on a curved surface. So any way I can make this a little bit easier on me, it's going to be the best. Okay, so I want to just kind of encourage you to work from the center with your fingers before ever getting a scraping tool out. And then same thing here, just kind of fanning, I guess, with your fingers. And just take your time. Like I said, doing a circle on a curved surface is not the easiest. Okay, and then let's go over to this side. This is where the relief cuts do, I think, help when you're doing circles. You can kind of feel with your finger if it starts to get like a hard ridge. Definitely don't push on that. You don't want to compromise your vinyl and bend it and it stay that way permanently. Okay, so I think I've got this pretty well tacked down. I'm going to pull off the transfer tape. I can see that moisture underneath from the rubbing alcohol just squish right out of there. So this is really, really helpful. Okay, now I'm going to actually grab my scraper tool and I'm just gonna run it along. So I'm kind of like working from the center of the circle rather than just doing a cross scrape, because of that moisture that's kind of possibly in or underneath, and have that work to my advantage. Just kind of smoothing out any bubbles. But how cool is this monogram? Like, so easy to click into Design Space now, pick a simple or even an ornate and more decorative monogram style. So all of our Cricut machines can do this awesome monogram design. So the next project we're going to do is a little bit more complex, and I've actually done a little more like feminine version of it. So I've done, this is actually faux leather. Today we're going to be using genuine leather. This is just an example of one I've already done that's more of like a Valentine's type theme that you could give, or like a birthday theme for your man in your life, full of love and kisses. So it's faux leather and cardstock, and then I have some embellishments of rhinestone, and we are going to be doing a little bit different, make it more rustically manly today. And then I have an actual tutorial video, a full tutorial from start to finish on this exact gift card wallet. So what you can do is you can fill this up with gift cards instead of having little notes and whatnot in here, or you could do a combination of having like a nice little sentiment and then putting a gift card and some cash in here where the ID part would normally go. Just however you want to go about filling this up. I know there's the lip balm little gift card things that are really popular right now, but this would be a great and more unique alternative to that, where you could fill this full of cash and gift cards and a sweet little sentiment. So today we are going to do more of a manly theme for Father's Day. And all of the tutorials in this, I keep saying Father's Day, but all the gifts could be for any guy at any time of the year. So this is my little tray I got from the Dollar Tree, and I painted it with, I think, Dollar Tree paint, or maybe even some paint from Joann's. There's this really pretty blush color, and then I added this, I cut this little piece of stick-on wallpaper that I got from the Dollar Tree to start holding my projects, and how great was that? I just threw all the pieces in here that I need for this particular project, Love it. I may do a video on that if you're interested in it. Just comment below and tell me. And then today we are going to be putting this together. The glues I'm going to be using are this Craft Bond Extra Strength from Elmer's. And then I've already got my hot glue gun all fired up on my nice little stand here. And then I really have a healthcare background, and personal things in life have brought me to being more ergonomically purposeful. So I use this easel that I got from, it's like a crafting easel. I purchased it from Five Below, but I will link in the description one if you aren't able to find it at your Five Below that you can purchase on Amazon. And maybe a little bit more pricey than $5, but even if it's only like 20 bucks or something, these are really great, and they're going to benefit all of us crafters to be more like upright with our neck in our posture while we're crafting. So a lot of my videos I think I will be filming from this angle because it is just more ergonomic and safe for us to craft without kinking our necks and just promoting good proper posture. Okay, so let's get to this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the easy parts together. So I'm going to set these aside, and I'm also going to be using a scrap piece of cardstock to do some of my gluing. So I'm going to throw that on here. And then the link for this project, I guess I should have started with that, I will put below. It is available in Cricut Design Space, and the full tutorial that I have for this particular wallet here will, I made some adjustments and things, and it will give you the full start to finish how to create this. Today we're just putting it together. So if you want to go for the full tutorial, go ahead and check that out after I show you some of the tips and tricks of how to do this. So this one right here is like the unaltered version. So the other one with the little princess colors and more female feminine is altered from Design Space by me. This one I think I just created directly from the link, and in the actual description of this original design on Cricut Design Space, it includes doing okay, so I'm just going to take this, center this, and then smooth it down. And what you can do is you can write a little sentiment on this if you want to, or you could, I would highly suggest putting, and I think it's even in the description, to put like, this is a Father's Day intended gift, and it actually says Happy Father's Day, to put a picture of your kids. If you have one child, then just put a picture that has just your one child on it, or like their school picture would be the easiest. And then stick this in the wallet just like it would be in there in a real wallet. So that would be an idea. Or if you don't want to do that, you could add like any kind of sentiment or write something, or use cardstock and just, you know, do some kind of an embellishment. Or you could just skip this one and not use it, and then fill that slot, that intended slot that this would go in, with cash or a gift card. Okay, so I feel like I was in the middle of saying something else and then I got sidetracked there. Oh, I was talking about the original design. So the original design in Cricut Design Space actually suggests for you to use leather as the outer part of this gift card wallet. And so I'm actually doing that. One of the ones I did, I used glitter cardstock, and I gave some tips and tricks in that video. And in this one, I just want to point out that when I was creating it, I'm going to pop in some little clips. When you're actually cutting leather, genuine leather that has all the fibers on the backing of it, you most likely want to cut that the smooth side facing up, And that's going to leave a lot of debris on your mat. And so I'm going to insert a little clip here where I'm going to show you how to actually place the leather on top of strong grip transfer tape. And then place the leather side up, the good, shiny side or smooth side of the leather. And then the backing of the leather, genuine leather, you're gonna put on the strong grip transfer tape on your strong grip mat. And it's going to make your mat stay nice and clean, and all the sticky fibers on the back of that leather are going to be on the transfer tape instead of left all over your mat. That is a tip and a hack that I highly recommend doing when you do glitter cardstock, except with glitter cardstock you're going to do the opposite, and you're going to put the glitter side down, and it's going to save our blades. It's going to help prolong the use and life of our mats, and I just think that it's really helpful. If you find some benefit from it, please comment below. Tell me the things that you find benefit from my videos. Tell me what inspires you. That's really why I try to create tutorial videos, is to inspire. So if I can just, help in some way, even if it's just simply to inspire you to create and craft, and then along the way give you just a little bit of help with tips and tricks also. Okay, so I have all these glued together. And now I'm going to move this out of the way. The next thing I'm going to do is score some of the bits and pieces. So this is part of the envelope. And I have a video on how to Cricut on a budget. It's more geared towards Cricut Joy, but every single thing in the video could be also beneficial to people that Cricut with any type of machine. I just didn't want to leave out all of our Cricut Joy people. So I got this I talk about it in that little Cricketing on a budget video. Got this from the Dollar Tree, and it's really nice. It's actually a scoring tool on the end. The other end is a piercing tool. It could be used as an alternative to a weeding tool, but I love that I have this now to do my scoring with. And then there's also this thing, I don't have it yet, but I think if I continue to do projects like this that do have a lot of scoring, there's a little thing called a scoring buddy. People that do a lot of card making projects, it'll help you score your folds and score lines for your cards and envelopes and all those things, and also things like this. This project here is technically it's a gift card, but it's got a lot of score lines. So I also did a tutorial video on how to put together a purse style gift bag, and that has a lot of scoring as well, and even flat scoring lines just to help you position, so not necessarily where it needed to be folded. So I think that scoring buddy would be great, because then it will do like a nice little score indentation where you may not have that adaptive tool for your particular Cricut machine. So I'm just going to keep setting these aside as I'm scoring. And I like to score one direction and then back the other way, because I just feel like it gives it I don't know, a nice crease and fold. You can score however you choose. If you just want to do score one direction and that's that, then that's fine. If you're just curious as to what my method is here, I just think that it gives it a better score by going back and then forth. Okay, so this is going to be a pocket like this, and then this one's going to actually fold up that way. So I'm going to score it and kind of fold it back this way, and then I'm going to fold it back the other direction. And that's a little dangerous there. That's one thing with this Dollar Tree scoring tool, is gotta make sure that's on there so you're not poking and stabbing yourself with the other end while you're using the scoring tool end. The Dollar Tree is absolutely great for some of their supplies, but of course sometimes it's really obvious why things are less expensive. Other times we are just getting a really good deal by going through the Dollar Tree. Okay, so I folded that one way and back the other. The other thing too is almost using this like a scraper tool and then giving that a nice hard fold there by sliding this scoring tool down. And as you see, this particular one that I purchased has that little part where it was probably came in the mold that they make and they break them off. And some of them had that at the bottom. And if you happen to purchase one, or you see the pack where this little mold part where they were probably adhered together and then during the process of packaging they are broken apart and then individually packaged, if that's on the end here, put those back on the shelf and get one where this is not going to be in your way, because your most used part of the scoring tool is going to be the end here, and you don't want that little bit of plastic scratching up your project. Now if you do get the one that's like this, then take a piece of sandpaper or a nail file and file that off. I may end up doing it even though it hasn't been an issue to me at this point, but if you happen to get one where that's at the bottom right here, then I would suggest using sandpaper or a nail file as sandpaper and just file that down so that you can use it without it being inhibiting your project instead of benefiting your project. Okay, so let's see where else I've got another score here. So I just want to show you really quick. So this is going to be the inside of the gift card wallet. The part that has this little window is going to be the inside. No matter what you use for your material, whether you use leather, faux leather, or just simply cardstock for all the layers, the one that's this shape and size that has this little window on it is going to be the inside. And then the one that's shaped like this is going to be the outside. So I actually used Cricut Genuine Leather for the outside of this one. And all these little bits here, looks like I still need to poke through that one. Here, let me get my little tool out here. All the little bits here are supposed to give the look of stitching, as though this were actually a stitched together wallet. And of course, if your blade is not super sharp, like this one little blemish here, I'm just going to leave it. It's not it didn't go all the way through. Maybe I'll fix it later. But anyways, this is to give the look of stitching. So very cool, very awesome design. I think it's fantastic. So anyways, this is going to be the inside, and we're going to have to do some of the scoring, and then the actual how you're going to put it together is going to be like this. So you're going to want to make sure that you center this where the stitching is like right in the middle of the leather, and same thing down at the bottom. You're going to want to make sure that that stitching you cannot see through. And it's a pretty tight design, so there's not a lot of wiggle room there, but that would be how it would look when you have it proper. But I'm going to do the scoring of this part first before we actually glue these pieces together. Okay, so I'm going to score backward all the way around. And now I'm gonna kind of hard fold now that I've done the scoring there. Press it down with my hand first and then do more of a hard fold. And then this last score line here. So I am going to score this the opposite direction and then fold it back. And then this is actually gonna glue down and be the inside of the wallet where the ID would be. Oh, and I didn't score the center part. So this actually has a double score line right in here. I'm trying to show that on camera. So right in there you can see there's a score there and a score there, and that is because of the thickness that is going to be on the inside of the wallet once we have both of these layers. I'm going to score that as well before we do any actual gluing. We are almost to that point, but just not quite yet. Okay, so that, as you can see, is going to give you that fold that's going to give that depth that'll be able to hold and have room for all that you put inside of there. Okay, let's get to some gluing. So I'm going to do the craft bond. I'm just going to put a little bit on here like so. And I did not mean to get that on there because we do not want that part to glue down. Just gonna wipe that off with my hand and then go wash my hands in a second here. Okay, so this is actually gonna fold across. And then I think my little scoring tool is gonna come in handy, just like my scraper tool. Use this instead of my scraper tool. And I'm not sure if you can hear, I have a 12-year-old son and a 21-year-old son. My 21-year-old son is up at college and at his apartment right now, but my 12-year-old is home for the summer. And he is below me in the basement, right underneath my craft room, chatting with his buddies. So if you hear a little kid's voice in the background, it is my 12-year-old. Okay, and I apologize for that if it is disruptive in any way. But I am going to keep on keeping on here. And then the actual score line for the leather, you know, I think that it's just going to be just fine. It's gonna kind of maybe curl more naturally, but I am going to try to just do a little bit of pre-score and fold along that leather, although it's nothing like working with cardstock, but just getting a little pre-score there, just kind of prepping it. I've done the faux leather, but this genuine leather is so much softer than the more rigid faux leather. So I think it's gonna work out. I think it's gonna work out just beautifully. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this part first. And I'm actually going to be doing do it by sections with hot glue. So I'm just going to line up, like I said, where you have the stitching. You want that to not be showing through on the side of the cardstock. So you want it to look like that, where you cannot see the stitching. And of course we want it to be nice and even. Okay. So I think that is looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead, like I said, in little sections because hot glue dries so quickly. I'm going to put some hot glue here and then slap this down pretty fast. And putting some nice pressure there. A lot of times when I work with hot glue, or excuse me, when I work with leather, I will do E6000. However, the last gift card wallet that I did with faux leather, the hot glue worked just fine and it dries much faster. The vapor fumes of the E6000, I always throw on a little half mask just to be safe. My husband works in the construction trade. He works a lot with different types of paints and stains and things, and when he read the label on the E6000, he's like, yeah honey, you need to throw a mask on when you're using this stuff. So obviously if I don't have to, I want to go like the least, I guess the least obstacles that I have to do. Obviously wearing those half mask respirators aren't super fun, so if I can get away with just by using the hot glue today to do this, then I think that's going to be good. Okay, I'm going to run my scraper tool across this. Actually, all of you that have been on my channel for a long time know I love my brayer. So I think I'm going to use my brayer. It's a nice even pressure. The thing about our brayers too, though, if you use it to like push down on projects that have like debris on them, like adhesive, or not adhesive vinyl, glitter cardstock or sublimation or infusible ink, you want to make sure that you keep these clean and that they're not having any leftover residue from the infusible ink or the glitter cardstock. Okay, run along here in the middle. I'm going to do this one separate. Just get that nice line there. Doing that separate because I really hope that we have a nice, we will be able to get a nice fold there. Okay. Got a little bit of strings on my glue. Okay. The thing that I really like about this gift card too, this wallet gift card, is that it looks so awesome, but it really isn't that challenging or difficult to make. I think the hardest part, honestly, is trying to weed out the little bits from the stitching. Other than that, this is really a simple and easy project. I don't know that I would recommend it for a beginner, but I think if you just take your time and you really, want to do something, you can do it, even if you're a newbie. I wouldn't necessarily say this be your first project, but if you take your time and just keep rewinding different sections, especially like if you're doing this particular project, if you go back and do the one, watch the one that I do, the like princessy colors and theme, then you'll have more information that you can just kind of slow down and rewind and keep going back and make it work where it's gonna really be a successful project as a newbie. Okay, let's see. I do have to glue this together, but this one is going to be a little tricky, so you gotta bear with me on how to really put this piece in place. This one's going to fold in a kind of wonky way that took me a second the first time I created one of these to like figure out which way to fold it. And I'm doing it correctly today because I am not doing it last. I'm going to do it before I add on my little pockets, which you do need to do. Okay, so what this one actually is going to do is going to fold back this way. And then this little part is going to fold under, and then you're going to glue your little gift card or money holder pockets on top of it, like that. So we are going to do it the right way this time, and then none of this is going to get glued down. This is actually going to be where this folds into and then holds the wallet closed. We will get to that, but first we want to just do this little glue part here. However, I want to make sure it's lined up in the front and it's nice and straight and even, and it's not, I'm not gluing it crooked like that. I want it to be nice and even. You can see on this end it's kind of tugging a little, so I'm trying to fold that back so it's not pulling on that side of the wallet. And we got a little bit of cardstock left over here. I can pick at that, make it look nice. There we go. Or it might have actually been hot glue. Okay, that looks pretty good. And so I'm just going to flip this over and I'm going to hot glue the little tab here and fold it right over and just hold it down. And that's where, instead of using, because of this kind of giving it a raised up, and we glue the gift card or money holder little pouches for the wallet inside here, you're going to want to actually use hot glue also to adhere that down, because it's not going to be an even flat surface, and then this craft bond glue is not going to be able to hold the back of it down nicely. However, for these little tabs and folds, I'm going to be using the craft bond. So we'll do that part next. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside. And I'm going to get my little scrap that I'm gluing on. And I'm going to glue the larger part first. Make sure that's nice and even in the front, or as even as possible. Okay, and then I'm going to run over my scraper tool just because it's that perfect size for these little tabs. And then I'm going to glue both sides of the tabs on this with craft bond glue. And make sure you don't get it on the inside part, because that's where you're going to be sliding your cards or your gift cards or your money. Although this will dry and not affect it if you do happen to slide it in there a little bit too far. It should be okay. This is just giving like a nice hard fold, but it's also just really helping, I feel like, smoosh that glue in where I want it to adhere. And then once it actually glues, then I will kind of pop it back out. Let's make sure nothing's gluing where it shouldn't be. Look at how nice this little Dollar Tree scoring tool works. So I'm just, oh, and see my pokey part poked out again. That's the one thing. You might actually break that end off if you're not going to use that. I think these come in a 2-pack, so I'm thinking I might actually pop that one end off. That I'm just going to use this for a scoring tool, that little pokey part, and then leave one on the other one. Leave the little pokey part on so I can use it if I need to. Okay, so that part is ready. I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. And we're going to put the envelope together. So this part is actually going to be the outside lip of the envelope. And it is like a little bit fuller envelope, so you don't want to like glue it too tightly. You can be a little bit loose on this because the thickness of the wallet is going to be so thick. Otherwise, it's barely going to be able to fit into this. And I have actually just been scoring manually the top part of the envelope along the edge here so that it is the depth of the wallet and will fit in here nicely and be able to close the envelope. However, if you don't want to do the envelope, you don't have to. So it's up to you if you'd want to do the envelope. If not, I would just suggest using a little gift box that the wallet will fit in. I actually have made cardstock gift boxes that have like a nice little acetate front where you can see what's inside of the package. I haven't done a tutorial on that, but if you're interested in me creating a gift box with like an acetate front on it, then just let me know in the comments. I like chit-chatting with my subscribers and people that view my videos, so feel free to reach out and communicate with me. Okay, so I'm just using this to kind of help that glue adhere. Okay. And I'm trying to be careful that I don't lay this on top of my glue that I've already used. Sometimes I've been a little absent-minded about that and forget and then throw it on a part where it's actually been, there's already glue. Oops. But try not to do that. The whole point of using this little scrap is to try to keep that from happening. And I went a little bit too high with the glue there, but okay, it's okay. Just learn from me and don't do what I just did with that part. And like I said, you want this to be nice and full so that it has that depth to it for the thickness of the wallet. So you don't want that to be like super flat, so I'm not gonna really smush that down, but I am going to wipe some of this glue off. If you happen to have like, well, I was going to say use like a little baby wipe and wipe it off, but with cardstock it'll shred and getting moist on there and throw things off a little bit. But alright, it's okay. So what I am going to do now though is I'm going to just do a little bend like that. I'm just trying to make sure that it's pretty even. I'm going to fold it. Trying to make sure that it's nice and even. And then I'm going to use that little Dollar Tree scoring tool and I'm going to do a crease. So, trying to make sure it's even. And now I'm going to turn it to the side. And I'm just going to do a nice little crease along there. So that when it actually is inside of here, that it has that depth Okay, so I am going to set this aside. We are going to finish putting together our cute little Father's Day gift. And this is 2 layers here. I didn't even think to put a little squirt of glue in here, so I do need to do that. And I'm going to move my glue, little scrap paper out of the way. And then I'm just going to show you, whoops, I'm just going to show you really quickly before I even put these in here or glue that on, that these are meant to go in. Oop, I just remembered. You want to glue just the very bottom of this. Other words, whatever you put in this top one is going to slide right out. So I'm just going to put a very little thin line of hot glue along the bottom here. And some of it squeezes out, we can just peel it off. Just to make sure that that is not gonna let our money or our gift card or our sentiment, whatever you happen to decide you want to use each little wallet pocket for. Okay. As long as there's still some glue on the inside, I just don't want to, for the aesthetics, I don't want that glue that kind of seeped out to be noticeable. Just gonna rub that off with my finger. Once hot glue dries, it's pretty easy to just peel it off, but when you wait for it to dry is your best bet. Other words, you can actually smear it and embed it into something, especially when you're working with fabric. I like to make bows a lot, and I learned the hard way to wait for the glue to dry before, on fabric that is, before I tried to go peeling it off. Okay, so we are going to now adhere this. So you're going to want to kind of center it. You want to make sure that it's not where the fold is meant to be. You want it on the inside of that. And just kind of center it on there. We're going to throw some glue on here. And just quickly glue it down, because this glue dries so fast. Okay. I'm going to turn it the other way and just give it a nice press. Okay, and then now if you want, you could stick this one in here, and then when they pull it out, it can have like a nice little sentiment in it. Or you could fit this one in the top over here, just however you want to put it together. But we are not quite done yet. What we have to do next is, oh, kind of popped loose a little bit there. That's one thing about I've learned putting these together is as you're folding the cardstock or whatever material you're using, that it might do a little puckering. So you might have to just go back around the edges and just do a little bit of maintenance glue. So you want to fold that like that, and that's going to keep the wallet closed. Okay, And that can be done, or if you want to add some little embellishments, which I'm going to do today, you can throw a couple little embellishments on there. So I happen to have this rhinestone pack from Joann, and it has a couple little manly looking, I don't know, little metallic beads, rhinestones, whatever, studs, wallet studs, that's what we'll call it. And I'm going to add these on here just to give it a little bit of a pop of, I don't know, just kind of jazz it up a little bit. I think I will be able to do 5, so I'm going to start in the center-ish and pop one of these on here. And just using, oops, just ran away from me. Just using a little bit of hot glue, and I think I'm just going to put the blob right there and then put my little studded rhinestone on there. I think I used a little too much hot glue that time. I'm going to have to peel some of that excess off after it dries. Okay, and now I'm just going to evenly place the other ones on the other side. So not as much hot glue this time. Just a little dab, and then pop my little stud on there. Okay, so that is pretty much done, but as you can see, I kind of oozed over with the hot glue a little bit. So I'm going to go back and just kind of peel some of that away so it looks more aesthetically pleasing. Okay, there's my finished product. And the fun thing about these wallets is you can just switch it up every single time you make one. You can do different colors, different materials. You don't have to do full leather every time or at all. You can always use just cardstock if you want to. So I hope you found some inspiration creating these projects with me today. If at any point you did, make sure that you click the like button. If you want to continue to follow me for creating and crafting tutorials, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And until next time, make sure that you check out another one of my videos.